Getting ready for a quick turnaround right here, but I thought our guys competed. Some great display in the second half of just playing complementary football in terms of getting the takeaways and then turning those into touchdowns. So, like I said, we'll enjoy it for a few minutes, and now it's on the Miami Dolphins.
49ers have played very good run defense over the course of this season. What gave y'all the confidence that you could run the ball as effectively as y'all did early on and throughout the game, really?
You know that number 8 out there? Did you see how many tackles or how many people he made him miss? It was pretty impressive. I think early on that got us going. You know, and we thought we could hit him with some of the downhill stuff. Obviously, they're missing a key part to that defense. 2 starters, actually, and so, but I thought, you know, we did what we had to do.
Matt, you played keep away early. First 3 drives are 32, 33 plays, 17-0. How important was that start for you?
It was critical. Just especially when you're playing a team with the backup quarterback, to build a lead and kind of put them in a tough spot where maybe I'm sure they wanted to probably lean on the run a little bit more, and now you're down 3 scores. It's hard to do that.
Matt, when you're a young team that dominates the way you did today, sort of how do you balance that, building on that confidence, but hey, we still have a lot of work to do to get to where we need to go?
Yeah, I mean, I think our guys are well aware of that. Certainly there was moments in the second half, especially from an offensive standpoint. I think we had a couple 3-and-outs. You know, when you have an opportunity to put a team away, you got to take advantage of that, and credit to them. I think that's obviously a really well-coached team, and they still have some star players over there, and they continue to compete, which that's one thing you can always expect from Kyle and his group is they've faced adversity in the past, and they've been able to overcome it, and that's why they're such a tough team to beat.
It's been kind of a disjointed season for you on offense because of Love's injuries. Do you feel like you're starting to come into any kind of identity on offense in the last few weeks?
I think every game's a different game, and I do think that just the last 2 games, he's looked pretty sharp. I mean, just his ability to move around, and then, I mean, he dropped some dimes in there tonight, and I thought he was playing very decisive and just making good decisions. So hopefully he'll continue to build upon this, and we'll continue to get better on offense.
What made the difference for you in the red zone today?
Well, we didn't have too many negative plays. I do know we did overcome 1 penalty, and that's kind of been our Achilles heel in terms of just not being able to overcome whether it's a penalty or a negative yardage play, and just the consistent execution. So I thought our guys did a nice job with that.
I know you have to win 1 game before you do the next one in 4 days, but did you think about Josh's workload at all? Like, is that a consideration at all? 26 carries, how much can he give you on Thursday? What's your thought process?
No, you got to win. You got to focus on what's right in front of you. And luckily for us, we do have confidence in those other 2 backs. I thought Emmanuel Wilson ran really, really good. Brooks has given us some good carries as well. So, yeah, we may have to lean on those guys a little bit more next game in a couple days here. But that's one guy that I don't worry about is Josh Jacobs. Guy is an animal. He is a dog and a dog competitor, and I think he definitely relishes those opportunities.
Free agency is around here now, where you guys don't sign a lot of guys too often. But what if, kind of the obvious question after Josh scored 3 times interior, the 2 big plays on defense, but what are those guys meant just on the field, off the field, in the locker room, kind of the whole?
Yeah, they've been awesome. They've obviously produced on the field, but I think just some of the stuff that you guys don't get the opportunity to see, how they lead behind the scenes, has been pretty impressive. Because I think it's not only about all the talk, it's about the action, and those guys back up what they say.
Just to kind of carry off of that, obviously not every big free agent signing ends up working out for teams. When did you start to get a feel that these 2 were as advertised and exactly what you expected coming over from their respective?
I'd say pretty early on in this process.
Any tell or anything?
No, there was a little bit more familiarity with Josh, with just some of our coaches that have been with him. Obviously, Rich was with him in Vegas, and then DA was with him at Alabama, and they spoke very highly of him. And then DA had a relationship with X. So there was a lot of great things, but until you get a guy in the building and get to interact with them on a daily basis, you don't really know. But it's been as advertised. Those guys have been just instrumental in our ability to win games.
You always tell us nobody's going to feel sorry for you in this league, and so I'm sure you weren't feeling sorry for Kyle today with the pieces he was missing. So how important was it? I mean, you may still see these guys in the postseason if they can still win the division.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good football team, and they were down a lot of pieces, and that's the reality of this league. I think for us, you have to take advantage of those opportunities when you do it, and I hate it for them. They've had a lot of adversity, but at the same time, I'm really only concerned about our group and our ability to go out there and do what we need to do to win games.
In a situation like that, you can get off to a rocky start and not get. I'm sure you wanted to be leading by more than 10 at halftime, even. But did you feel
It was a
like
weird first half in terms of just we obviously controlled the clock, had the 3 possessions where we had 17 points and had an opportunity right there to really go up 24-7 at the half, and didn't make the play. But I thought our guys rebounded from that, and I was proud of them for that.
Matt, the first thing you said when you walked in there, you mentioned the quick turnaround. What is the biggest challenge these next couple of days to get ready to roll again?
We got to put a plan together, and these guys got to heal up, and these guys got to be able to process that plan. And especially, it feels like it's midnight already. What time is it, by the way? I don't even know. Yeah, it's going to be a late night. Let's just put it that way. Quick turnaround, and we're going to have to make a lot of quick decisions moving forward because we got our players coming back in tomorrow. We're going to present them with an initial plan, and these guys got to do whatever they can to try to get their bodies back. And that's a physical football team we just played, so I'm sure some of the guys are going to be pretty sore, but they're in there doing recovery right now.
Even grade this,
Absolutely.
you don't go right into the game
No,
plan.
you have. I think you have to look at everything. I really do. I think you have to take the time to look at it, make the corrections, the adjustments off the tape. Certainly, I'm sure Miami's going to look at that tape, so you better know what you did and the areas where you may be susceptible to getting exposed and make those corrections and move on.
McCaffrey's going to go to the Hall of Fame, but he didn't do much against you guys tonight. What did you think of your run defense?
Well, I got to go back and watch it. I mean, half the time I'm racking my brain trying to figure out what play to call next. So I thought our defense came in with a really good plan, and I thought, obviously, anytime you hold an offense like that, I mean, that's one of the most potent offenses in the National Football League. And again, I know they're missing their starting quarterback, but I thought our guy and their left tackle, but I thought our guys played an outstanding game, and I was really happy with those takeaways in the second half.
You got a 4th down stop on their first drive of the second half, and then the pick that Xavier sets up the score. Those 2 huge defensive plays.
Yeah, that was critical to get the turnover on downs early on, because now you're talking about potentially a 1-possession game. Obviously didn't do anything with that, but I thought Daniel Whalen did another nice job, and I think he averaged almost 49 yards a punt, and just flipping the field, pinning them deep in their own territory was obviously critical.
I know you said every game, every matchup is different, but to dominate on the ground the way you did today, how much do you want to build on that, especially down the stretch as you head into the postseason?
Well, I think when you're able to do that, it certainly opens up some stuff in the pass game. So, yeah, you always want to be able to run the football. It just makes you a little bit tougher to defend, and hopefully that'll open up some things in the passing game.
There's tougher style play, something that other guys feed off of. The opening drive touchdown where he pulls through it with Zach Tom on his way to the end. It doesn't matter who he's going through.
Yeah, Tuck's a G. He plays the right way with a great mentality, and I think he's just scratching the surface personally. I think he continues to improve and gets better and better, and it seems like every week. And I think it all starts with his approach. And the guy loves football, and he will compete, and he does it every day.
Hey Matt, is this, with the quick turnaround and Rome in the concussion protocol, is this an instance where that depth in your wide receiver room, Malik has a touchdown?
Yeah, that was great. And not only the touchdown, but he had another key reception there late in the game. Yeah, we've got a lot of guys that we can throw the ball to. So, you know, that's unfortunate because I thought Rome was really having himself a really great game. He came out, made some critical plays. That third down and long was pretty special where he almost got out the backside. And, you know, he is very, very consistent. So, you know, if we don't have him, that's a big loss. But we do feel like we have other guys. It's going to open up some other opportunities for some of these other guys.
3 takeaways for you on your defense. Your defense has struggled to be getting takeaways over the last couple of games against Detroit and Chicago. What led to creating those defensive opportunities, you think, for your guys in the second half?
Well, I mean, I think just when you look at it, I think what the pick that X had, I want to say that ball got tipped. And X he's been pretty consistent in his ability to make plays on the ball. And then what Van Ness had a forced fumble, and Keyshawn had a huge forced fumble when they get an explosive gain to McCaffrey. And, I mean, he was the backside corner on that play, and he's running across the field. And we always talk about running to the football and how good things will happen. Well, that was a great example of that right there.
Do you think that's an area you can take advantage on as the weather turns? It was also in special teams, a ball on the ground, and also play had not.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of, there were a lot of balls on the ground, and unfortunately we didn't get them all, but, you know, our guys are very mindful of it, and it's not something we just talk about every day. We drill it every day, and, you know, it's on them to go out there and be mindful of that in those situations, which isn't always easy.
More, please. Man, so you've been through plenty of Thursday night games already as a head coach, but do you stay here all night? Do you go
Pretty much, yeah. That's why I want to get done with this as soon as possible.
So can you go through your schedule and then I'll stop asking?
Yeah, it's going to be, I'm going to go right back to my office, watch the game, put the game to bed, and then over the bye week, for me, I watched pretty much every snap of Miami, knowing that this was coming. So made my notes, had kind of a preliminary plan for that, just in you know, and then just got to watch a couple games here, and I mean, we got to put a plan together here, hopefully by tomorrow by noon. So, I mean, that is a quick turnaround.